Welcome everybody to the 2020 Chevrolet Blazer RS, a new two-row midsize SUV that Chevrolet is saying that it really follows the line of the design and the ethos of the latest generation of the Camaro. And the reason why you're hearing and seeing me on my deck is that during the filming of this particular review, my microphone decided it wanted to record nothing more but the bittersweet silence of nothingness. So I'm coming here retrospectively to talk about what I thought about this Blazer RS and how I think it stacks up against this competition. This new Blazer is based upon the same platform as the current Traverse. That's the three-row midsize SUV from Chevrolet again. But you'll see that in the upcoming model year of the new Traverse, it's trying to adapt the styling that the Blazer has. The RS is the current penultimate trim for the Blazer with quite a few unique features, mostly when it comes to the styling and the accents of this vehicle. On the outside, lots of black badging. You've got dark chrome surrounds on that front grille, quite desirable 20-inch wheels, and a different interior color combination where here you'll see this jet black and ruby red accents around the vents, but then red stitching and then an interesting red sort of 3D effect in the seats where the base of the seats is a black leather, but underneath that black leather is some kind of red material. Gives it quite an interesting look. The interior and the exterior design of this Blazer, particularly in RS form, will be for the individuals that are looking for a bit more of a flashy mid-size SUV. The Blazer's interior does impress me in places, but disappoints in other areas as well. First, I will say that the driving position is great for anyone that's my size. I'm 6'4". I feel like the seating position is nicely placed. The steering wheel has a good amount of movement in and out and up and down. If I could ask for anything more, it would be a little more underleg support, but in the driving position that I found during my test, I was very happy on long highway cruises in this vehicle. The interior is a direct translation from the Camaro. You can obviously see the influences of how the air vents are laid out, the buttons for the air conditioning, the touchscreen front and center. And again, if this isn't up to your taste or desires, then I don't think this Blazer is going to be for you. And when I first got into this vehicle, it was a little strange trying to figure things out where they were. You will find that there's quite a smattering of buttons where you don't think they should be, but over my time driving it, I got used to it and I came to enjoy it. Another issue with the placement of those vents is that if you're tall like me, you'll find that the ones that are down below, close to the gear shifter, never really do anything more than heat up or cool down your right knee. It's very hard for me to get into the comfortable driving position where I might rotate my body a little bit and have that vent hit my face or my chest. So that's kind of annoying. Still though, it appears at first that the designers ran out of space for the buttons that ended up flanking the 8-inch touchscreen that has Amazon Alexa integration, Apple CarPlay, and Android Auto. There's a great amount of second row space for someone my height, plenty of adjustability back there too. The seats can recline. More than enough boot space to satisfy anybody, I think, and with hidden storage underneath, that will also give you a little bit of security if you ever need to hide away something a little more valuable. You can easily drop down the seats back there with a tug on the handle, and my absolute favorite feature of this Blazer, which I really hope other manufacturers adopt, is a little glow-up Chevrolet logo on the ground where you need to wave your foot to activate the kick-to-open tailgate. Genius system. I've come across, I don't know how many cars that have a kick-to-open tailgate, but I never really bring it up in my videos because I'm uncertain if the sensor isn't working properly or me waving my foot underneath isn't getting the sensor's attention. So having a logo placed on the ground so you can reliably kick to open it every single time is fantastic. Congratulations, Chevrolet, because it seriously might be my absolute favorite feature that I've seen in any car so far this year. There's two other pieces of technology that I want to address that I know have existed in other cars before, but this is the first time that I have ever encountered them. For one, in the rear view mirror is the integration of the rear view camera. Genius system, works really well. People might ask, why would you ever want something like that? First of all, if you've got tall people in the back seats and looking behind you, your visibility is blocked, or maybe you've just got your boot crammed with huge amount of boxes, you're moving out, you can't see behind you. flipping on that camera will help you get that rearward visibility that you need, and it doesn't seem to ever turn off. The resolution and the frame rate is very high, and an area where it actually outperforms a regular piece of glass is that if you ever have a bassy song playing or you're going over a rough bit of road, the glass you can see will vibrate and become distorted, but with the camera that never happens. Second piece of technology I want to bring up is the vibrating seat. Yes, you heard me right, and I'm sure that there's a certain percentage of my female viewership that are going to become very interested in this one very specific feature. So how it works is another element to alert the driver if you're ever backing out of a space. The rear cross traffic alert or the parking sensors will let you know if something is getting too close. When I got into the Blazer RS, I didn't know that this was in the car. So when I was backing out of the parking space, first getting into the vehicle, that system activated. I swear to God, I thought I hit something. It was frightening, but it does work, but is it all that necessary? For me, not so much. So if you see an individual that is constantly driving in and out of a parking space, getting very close to the wall, then driving back, then getting very close to the wall again, with a big old grin in their face, giggling away, there's a very good reason as to why, and now you're in the know. Let's finish up the interior by talking about the materials. The leather on the seats and the steering wheel is quite nice. There's certainly a bit more hard plastics than I would come to expect at this price point up against its competitors. And I did encounter a couple of build quality issues during my time reviewing this vehicle. First of all, there's a piece of trim that's just underneath the touchscreen that follows underneath that bit of painted gray plastic that doesn't meet up very well. I constantly tried to push it in to try and get it to set in place without that quite noticeable gap. That never seemed to fix the problem. And there was also an issue with the window trim on the passenger side of the vehicle where it just wanted to escape throughout my weeks-long drive of it. I could constantly push it back down and would hold for an afternoon, but by the time I woke up in the morning, it had risen out of place again. Driving the Blazer is enjoyable, but don't get your hopes up by listening to the marketing people saying that the Blazer is the Camaro of SUVs, because quite frankly, it just isn't. Although it's competent and well sorted, it's a bit of a stretch to say that it's anything more than that. The 3.6 litre V6 that is standard on the higher trims is enthusiastic to rev, and the 9-speed transmission is close to flawless. I would ask though for a Blazer RS, don't put that stupid little button arrangement on the gear shifter to change gears up and down. It would be nice to put plastic paddles, even though I know no one would use them. It would fit the image of the car a little bit better, in my opinion. But with 305 horsepower and 270 pound-feet of torque, it will comfortably get the Blazer RS up to speed, but it won't really elevate your heartbeat. There isn't much for exhaust noise. The only noise I'm really getting from this engine is from the engine itself. And it isn't that refined when you're idling, when the automatic stop-start system that standard hasn't engaged. Another feature of this engine is that it has a cylinder deactivation mode where it can become a V4. So 2 cylinders stop getting fuel fed to them under light loads, and you'll see that displayed on your digital instrument cluster, but during my time driving, it doesn't appear as often as you think it should be. So in summation, the Blazer RS is quite pleasant to drive, in my eyes attractive to look at, but it could be a bit too daring for some in terms of the overall design and its intended mission. So that leaves me why I think that the Blazer RS is a mid-size SUV that you should consider owning if you're shopping in this category. Thank you so much for putting up for this kind of oddly shaped review. I promise this isn't how I intended it to be, but hopefully going forward with a new microphone that you hear me now, all will be well. So thanks for watching. Hope to see you again soon.